Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the program. It is Tuesday, July 28th, coming to you live from our studio in Seoul. I'm Min. And before we begin, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. The White House is on alert after Trump's national security advisor Robert O'Brien tested positive for COVID-19, becoming the highest-ranking U.S. official known to have contracted the virus. Moderna begins the third and final phase of COVID-19 vaccine human trials in the U.S. It's the first potential coronavirus vaccine to begin its final stage of testing, with the results to be out by Thanksgiving. Will this be the key to beating the pandemic? North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says his country's nuclear deterrence will permanently guarantee national security and promises that there will not be any more wars on the peninsula due to the North's effective self-defense capabilities. Our top story this morning. The White House is on a major alert after National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien has tested positive for coronavirus. But it says President Trump and VP Pence are at no risk of exposure. Our Hong-Yu reports.
U.S. National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien has tested positive for COVID-19, the first case of a senior White House official contracting the virus. In a statement Monday, the Trump administration said he has mild symptoms and is working in self-quarantine at a secure location off-site. It emphasized it's unlikely President Trump or Vice President Mike Pence have been exposed, and the work of the National Security Council will continue uninterrupted. But the White House did not provide the details on how and when O'Brien contracted COVID-19 and how many times he had come into contact with President Trump. President Trump said Monday that he has not seen O'Brien recently.
No, I haven't seen him lately. I heard he tested. Yeah, I have not seen him. I'm calling him later.
The last time the two were seen in public together was on a trip to Florida on July 10th. O'Brien had recently traveled to the UK, France, Germany, and Italy to meet with their security officials, during which he was seen repeatedly not wearing a mask. Trump's top economic advisor Larry Kudlow told reporters on Monday that O'Brien believes he contracted the virus from his daughter. The White House says staff members are regularly tested, but it has not been able to contain the virus within its offices. In early May, the spokesperson for the vice president and a military officer who works as a presidential valet at the White House tested positive. With the most senior White House aide to date contracting COVID-19, the administration is expected to acknowledge the severity of the virus spread as the number of confirmed cases in the U.S. has surpassed 4 million. Hong-Yu, Arirang News.
While countries around the globe are racing to find a vaccine to fight COVID-19, U.S. biotech company Moderna has started its final stage of trial of a potential vaccine. Our Kim Jae-hee tells us more.
Moderna has entered its last phase of human trials of its COVID-19 vaccine candidate. According to the New York Times on Monday, the Phase 3 clinical trial has enrolled 30,000 healthy people at 89 sites around the U.S. Lasting a couple of months, it's the world's biggest experimental COVID-19 vaccine trial to date. Half the volunteers get 2 shots of the vaccine, and the other half get a fake vaccine made with salt water. With neither the volunteers nor the medical staff knowing who gets the real vaccines, researchers will monitor the volunteers' health conditions. Despite the new technology Moderna is using, the top U.S. infectious disease official, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said he's not particularly concerned about the safety risk of the trial. He reportedly said researchers should know the efficiency of Moderna's potential vaccine by mid to late fall. U.S. President Donald Trump also announced on Monday that Moderna has officially entered the final stage before approval and expressed optimism. He discussed what has been dubbed Operation Warp Speed, which is his administration's effort to deliver 300 million doses of a vaccine by January 2021.
We will achieve a victory over the virus by unleashing America's scientific genius, which is what it is. Under Operation Warp Speed, we've shaved years off of the time that it takes to develop a vaccine, in some cases many years.
The potential cost of the vaccine is also being discussed. According to Reuters, coordinators of a global COVID-19 vaccines funding scheme are targeting $40 a dose to be the highest price in high-income countries. Kim Jae-hee, Arirang News.
The World Health Organization says COVID-19, which has infected more than 16 million people worldwide, is easily the worst global health emergency the UN health body has ever faced. Our Lee Seung-jae with more.
With over 16.5 million infections and 650,000 deaths worldwide, the WHO says the COVID-19 pandemic is by far the worst global health emergency the UN agency has ever had to tackle.
This is the sixth time a global health emergency has been declared under the international health regulations, but it's easily the most severe.
Speaking at a virtual briefing in Geneva on Monday, the WHO chief said the only way the world can beat the pandemic is to strictly follow health measures like wearing masks and avoiding crowds. He added that when such measures are followed, cases go down, singling out South Korea, Canada, Germany, and China for praise in their efforts. While the United States, Brazil, and India continue to see the highest number of daily infections, other nations are emerging as new hotspots. South Africa reported over 11,000 new cases on Sunday and is now the fifth most infected nation globally. Mexico continues to see a surge in new cases at over 6,000, while Kazakhstan and the Philippines, which has seen low infection numbers from the start, are now seeing numbers surpass 1,000 on a daily basis. Japan has also been struggling, reporting almost 600 cases on Sunday, mostly in Tokyo. There have been 5 other global health emergencies, 2 outbreaks of Ebola, Zika, polio, and the swine flu. However, with the COVID-19 pandemic not slowing down, the WHO chief says he would reconvene the agency's emergency committee this week to review its assessment of the pandemic. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
North Korea's Kim Jong-un says his country's nuclear deterrence will permanently guarantee national security and said North Korea won't stop solidifying its defense power. The North State mouthpiece to the Korean Central News Agency reported this morning that its leader Kim Jong-un had touted the regime's, quote, reliable and effective self-defense war deterrence, saying that there will not be any more wars. Kim reportedly added that the regime's security and future will be permanently guaranteed. The report that cited Kim's comments came on the day marking the 67th anniversary of the signing of the Korean Armistice Agreement, which brought a halt to the Korean War. Former U.S. Forces Korea Commander General Vincent Brooks has argued the need for the United Nations Command to prevail even after a declaration of an end to the Korean War. His remarks were made at a virtual seminar hosted by the Korea Defense Veterans Association on Monday, marking the 67th anniversary of the signing of the Armistice Agreement. Brooks said the multinational UN command is vital in facilitating peace on the Korean Peninsula and supporting disarmament activities in the region. He added the UN command is highly unlikely to be used to carry out the U.S.'s Indo-Pacific strategy since the expansion of the UNC requires the approval of the UN Security Council. Amid the lingering geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China, South Korea's foreign ministry will be holding a diplomatic strategy meeting later this afternoon to come up with a coherent game plan for Seoul going forward. Now, this will be the third strategic coordination meeting on foreign affairs following the previous 2, which focused on the friction between Washington and Beijing, as well as the economic retaliation from Japan. Seoul, in recent months, has been striving to map out a long-term strategy to navigate the increasingly tricky regional diplomatic landscape as it hopes to maintain good relations with both Washington, its security partner, and Beijing, a major trading counterpart. Relations between the U.S. and China hit another low recently with the shutting of consulates in Houston and Chengdu, respectively. Responding to remarks made by Germany's foreign minister that Russia has no chance of rejoining the Group 7, the Kremlin has fired back and said Russia has no intention of joining anyway. Our Kim Hyo-sun explains.
Russia doesn't want back into the G7. That's what the spokesperson for the Kremlin said Monday in response to Germany's rejection of President Trump's proposal to expand the group's membership. According to Russian news agency TASS, Dmitry Peskov said Russia has expressed that it's content with the current G20 system, which it views as one that better meets modern economic realities. He also stated that Russian President Vladimir Putin has neither put forward any initiatives nor made any requests or actions that suggest Russia wants to join the G7. Peskov emphasized any group that does not include key centers of economic development is likely to be ineffective, pointing out that discussing economic and social development without the participation of India, China, or Brazil is difficult. This is in line with its stance that the G20, which includes all of the G7 and BRICS member states, is much more effective. The G7, which has been in existence since 1976, brings together the world's major economies, including the U.S., the UK, Germany, and Canada. In 1997, it was renamed the G8 after Russia joined, but the members suspended Russia's membership in 2014 due to Moscow's annexation of Crimea. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
A researcher has found that Japan did not recognize South Korea's easternmost islands of Dokdo as Japan's territory in the late 19th century. Professor Han Chol-ho of Dongguk University revealed in his latest research paper that geography textbooks reviewed and adopted by Japan's Board of Education back in 1889 show that Japan viewed Dokdo as Korean territory. Now, Professor Han researched numerous geography textbooks and atlases approved by Japan, and his research has been published in the Journal of the Northeast Asian History Foundation. An Italian publisher is printing a regular BTS magazine for K-pop fans around the world. Sprea Editori says it decided to publish the 80-page full-color edition in light of BTS's strong fan base as well as growing interest in the band in Italy. Now, the first edition came out earlier this month, and it includes interviews and photos of all 7 members of BTS. It is one of the few times a K-pop group has been the cover story of a foreign magazine, and the company says it'll publish a new edition featuring BTS every 2 months.
Good morning. On and off monsoon rain will continue throughout the day today. It did rain pretty heavily in the south earlier in the day, but now there are just sprinkles. But it should pick up again though as the day goes on today. In Chungcheongdo, Jeollabuk-do, and Gyeongsang-buk-do provinces will see more than 150 millimeters of downpours, while Seoul and the northern regions will see 5 to 40 millimeters into tomorrow, so keep an umbrella handy. Temperature-wise, afternoon highs in northern regions will be a tad higher today. Seoul and Chuncheon getting up to 28 and 29 degrees Celsius respectively, while southern regions will also see highs in the mid to upper 20s. So it's going to be another very warm, humid, and wet day. Now, this year's long monsoon season should come to an end starting in the south by the end of the week, while central regions will see rain into early next week. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
And that does it for us at this hour. Our next news lineup will be coming up at noon Korea time, so do stay close. Thanks for watching and goodbye.